Our sins and woes. Our sins and woes. Our sins and woes.
Welcome to the second episode of the Our Sins and Woes podcast where a bunch of dumbass millennials talk about their dumbass opinions, their dumbass perspectives, their dumbass mistakes, and their dumbass complaints. I'm your host, Nelson. Thank you for joining me today. First and foremost, let's go ahead and give a huge shout out to the Montclair Library for letting us use their establishment as a platform to say the most vulgar shit they've ever heard in their lives. Very much shout out to them. Appreciate everything they do. Another shout out to my boy Xavier Cloud for that amazing ass intro and outro. God, he's killing it with the vocals. Make sure you follow that guy. He's on all major streaming services. And my final shout out goes to my boy E-Rock for the dopest cameraman in town, except for the fact that he's not getting paid. Hey, man, when I get my first check, I got you, bro. I'm going to cut you some, I promise. But when I get my first check. So, you know, it's a time game. But anyways, let me go ahead and introduce my first guest. Q-Dog, what's up, baby?
Yo.
We got to talk about derogatory terms. That's got to happen. When we shot the first episode, I realized, you know, we said bitch a lot and we said nigga a lot. And maybe that'll go to roll away with the viewers the wrong way. So it's definitely something we got to address.
That's just the new male and female terms. Bitch, nigga, bitch. Bitch, nigga. Bitch ass.
But I said the word a lot, and, you know, people are going to get affected by it. But I think as millennials, we think a little differently about the word. Mm-hmm. Like, we aren't directly affected by hearing the word.
Right.
As opposed to, like, when we're directly being called it. Like, our old heads, they'll sit there and say, I don't understand why you kids say the word nigga or why you say the word bitch or anything like that. They're just bad words and stuff like that. It's like, we look at the word like it's only a problem if we are directly called it. That's usually when it comes an issue. So, but as opposed to us, like, I don't think anybody was complaining about the word being said just yet this early on with the, you know, small base that we have because they were like, oh, well, he's not talking about me. Like, I'm talking about, you know, girls on Tinder doing stupid stuff, and most girls would be like, oh, that doesn't apply to me, so he's definitely not talking about me. Or, you know, we say the N-word in a very casual form, like, what's up, my nigga, or these niggas, or y'all niggas. Like, we don't really mean it in a derogatory way. We're just describing people, specifically black people most of the time and stuff like that. How do you feel about the word nigga?
I got a multiple faceted answer for that. One, nigga's my favorite word. It's a person, place, thing. It's a noun. It's a verb, adverb, adjective. Anything can be a nigga. Look at these niggas here. Look at these niggas there. Nigga running around doing nigga shit.
How bad is it, like, growing up, I used to see you play video games and, like, the balls would do some stupid ass shit and you'd be like, nigga, come on. Like, it's not even a real person. You still be calling that motherfucker nigga.
Yeah. Anything can be a nigga.
All bad.
As long as you're not saying nigger, then I'm all right.
Is the connotation, like, the difference in that last word really that different, though? Between
It's
nigga and nigger?
It's cringy. When you hear nigger, actually, it's more cringy when I hear a black person saying nigger with the ER at the end. I'm like, all right, so what do you mean when you saying this word, bro?
Whose side are you on?
Right, yeah. Like, are you an ally, bro? Are you with the cause? I don't know. But,
that word just don't affect me because it's a racial talk down most of the time when people look at it in a negative way. And I was like, can't nobody talk down to me racially. Like, there's nothing you could say that affect me. I'm black, I'm proud, and I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
But boy is my trigger word. I hate boy. Like, boy.
That's emasculating. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you're not talking down to me because I'm black or
Right.
anything like that. My upbringing or my culture. You're talking to me like as a human being. You saying you are less than what you are. That's the only reason why boy is my trigger word. But I'm getting better about it because I shouldn't look at that word. I shouldn't give that word that much power, like, over me. So that's why I think, like, nigga, it doesn't really have that much or shouldn't have that much control over the people that react to it. Same with the word bitch. Like, I don't think it should have that much control over the people that it does.
See, the word bitch in the bitch community is all right. It's like that's a term of endearment. Like, oh, that's my best friend. That's my main bitch. Like, you know.
Yes, bitch, yes.
Right. Yes, bitch. Like, that's just their thing. But, yo, if I'm like, hey, what up, bitch? And she gonna look at me like I'm something like, what the fuck? No, you ain't one of us. You can't say that word. So bitch is their nigga.
Literally, I was about to say, it's literally the same way black people treat their
Right. Bitch is their nigga. And with homosexuals, it's faggot. We can't call them that shit.
Wait,
but I've heard a gay nigga call another gay nigga faggot. It wasn't endearing at all. He was like, shut your faggot ass up. And I was like, but you gay too, fam. But I guess they can call each other that.
Wait a minute. What?
Yeah, bruh. Yeah. Faggot is their N-word. Yeah.
Why are you throwing it around so loosely? Just a word.
It's a word. I ain't call nobody faggot.
Now you say that, but how do you feel when white people say nigga?
Don't call me that shit. If you rapping a song in the privacy of your own car, that's none of my business. But if you call me that shit, we gonna have some problems.
Okay, so hold on. Let's just dive into this for a second. How do you have such an issue with like white people saying nigga, but then you look at like the F word or the N word or the B word as they're just words?
Because those words don't apply to me. Nigga is a word that applies to me. So when you're applying that word to me, you got to come correct. And your skin color being white is already incorrect. I said it.
There's a problem with that, I'm telling you. Because you're sitting there and like you could say, oh, don't nobody have no control over me. Nobody has that much power over me and stuff like that. But that word still rubs you the wrong way. It doesn't matter what kind of word it is. They can walk up to you and say blacky, 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 or nigger, 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 or anything like that.
Honestly, that's just more cringy. It's cringy. Now, you're not going to hurt my feelings when saying it. It's just the principalities. Don't start that won't be none. Like,
so as long as you don't call me nigga, I don't have a reason to fuck you up.
Yeah, basically. Pretty much. Nah. It's not like it's gonna hurt my feelings. It's just I gotta honor my ancestors.
Is that what?
Because they couldn't do shit when they was called it. We can.
No, we can fight back now.
Yeah. So I'm honoring my ancestors. So come correct or get fucked up.
There's everything wrong with that. There's everything wrong with that.
Also, I want to touch on this subject. Hispanics. I'm talking to you. If you Puerto Rican or Dominican, you can say nigga all you want. I don't give a fuck. You Mexican, I don't know. I know Trump treating y'all like niggas, but y'all ain't niggas yet, all right?
Yikes.
Y'all ain't working for free.
The way he just said.
Y'all ain't working for free.
I do not subscribe to what he just said. I just want to put that out there. First of all, now, let's touch on that for a second. You said the Dominicans and the, who else?
Puerto Ricans.
The Puerto Ricans can say the N-word. Mm-hmm. Let me guess. The Afro-latinas?
Yeah, the Afro-Latinos, Afro-Latinas.
Big
that
problem with that.
The slave ship stopped there first.
What is Afro-Latina to you?
That is a person of color who identifies with their African roots, but is also a part of the Hispanic community.
Now, see, when I hear Hispanic, Afro-Latina, whenever I see a person defending the right of Afro-Latina, I always see a person that says, oh, no, I'm Hispanic. I am deep-rooted into my African heritage. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, okay, so you're just a Hispanic person that knows a lot about black culture. Like, that's what I hear. When I hear Afro-Latinas, it's usually a full-blood Hispanic person that has a black hairstyle.
So I'm going to correct you there. Full-blood Hispanic person doesn't mean anything.
What do you mean?
The word Hispanic wasn't invented until the 70s, first of all.
What 70s?
1970s. 1970s. Let's clear that up. Yeah, that term didn't exist till then because they didn't want to be classified as niggas. So they were like, yeah, could we not be them? We don't want to be treated like that.
Spaniards?
That's Spaniards from Spain, bro.
Okay, but it's damn near the same thing. Spanish-speaking culture.
They niggas. They niggas. Yeah, remember Africans planted their seed everywhere before the white man came. The white man didn't even exist until the black man made them, first of all.
There's everything wrong with that.
That's a conversation for another time.
Yeah, obviously. I don't understand it, though, because I hear Afro-Latina and, like, people get real, like, in-depth with it, and I'm sitting here like, okay, but you're basically Hispanic. You're just very conscious. Like, you can't go around calling a white people the white person that has dreads Afro-Caucasian.
That's because they don't got Afro in them.
Everybody has Afro in them.
They don't have.
Do we not all originate from Africa?
Yeah, but
okay,
at some point,
how do they not have Africa?
They're mutants, bro. They're mutated into a different form of being. They're no longer. They no longer African in roots.
What?
Their DNA is different, bro.
Yo, did you just call the hippies? Did you just call hippies X-Men?
I mean, they get high, get superpowers, right?
Yeah, you can't sit there and think like so blatantly about it though. Like,
But they got first of all, they just culture vulturing anyway. The hippies, they said, "Oh, look at black people," let's
yeah,
take
but
that.
you can't say the same about. You're gonna tell me you don't feel the
But
same
here's
about
the
Hispanic
difference.
people?
The Afro-Latina, I'm gonna get you. The Afro-Latina community are usually people with the 4C African type hair. They have that. They're in their DNA. You can see that. Okay, clearly they got some black in them. Like you can visually tell that. Like Marilyn Negra, that beautiful woman. Shout out to her and her sexy ass. But anyway, yeah, you could clearly tell she got black in her.
No, you're talking about a Latina woman with curly hair. Bruh, I can name 3 of them on the street right now.
No, that's that 3. You talking about that 2C, 3B type hair? That's the wavy and down. I'm talking about 4C curly nappy nigga hair.
I didn't know there was levels to girls.
Yes. It goes from 1A to 4C. The type 4 hair is strict nigga hair. Strictly nigga. Mixed motherfuckers got the 2 and the 3 type hair, and then the white people, and the Asians, they got the 1 type hair. Yeah, bro. Look it up.
I'm sorry. I didn't know there was levels to curls.
Yeah.
Regardless.
They you assistant, you found out.
All right. Pretend you didn't just come in my life like that. But nonetheless, I'm telling you, I see the Afro-Latinas, and it's usually just a Hispanic person that just rocks a black hairstyle. And it says, I'm part of the black community and stuff like that. Like, is Haitian is considered a form of Hispanic, right? I believe it is.
No,
Haitians?
I mean they right next to Dominican Republic.
But aren't they considered of like a Hispanic country? Do you know?
I wouldn't say that. I would just call them they Afro-Caribbean.
Afro-Caribbean.
Afro-Caribbean is what I would refer them to.
Yo, we gotta stop putting Afro in front of everything.
I mean, they black and then the Caribbeans. Afro-Caribbean. That's just what it is.
Yeah, not completely wrong, but I thought that Haitians were considered Afro-Latinas as well. They are just very much darker than your Dominican Republicans and your.
They niggas. They all niggas, except for the ones with the white blood, and they not so much niggas. Like
But that's what I'm saying. Does it matter? Like, is your Afro-Latinism based off of like you being deep rooted in your black culture and from a Hispanic country, or does it? That's
so basically, you got to have the African roots, and you got to be a part of that Hispanic community. It's got to be both.
But I feel like that's all people that's in these South American countries. Like
Now, if I'm a light-skinned New York nigga that's clearly more white than
representing the
I
Bronx,
am, right?
We out in Brooklyn over here.
Right.
Check out my Timbs.
Right. Them, I wouldn't know if I would consider
What's
them,
up, B?
not all of them. There's levels to it though, but I'm not a gatekeeper. I can't really say who can and who can't. I can just tell you what I feel comfortable with, who can and who can't.
Yeah.
So that.
Yeah, I got nothing. I'm very confused because I don't know all the things. And maybe one time I'll sit down.
Shit,
and talk
some
with
niggas shouldn't be me saying niggas, to be honest.
like who?
Like I don't. So here you go. If you have ancestors that were slaves or whatever, right? You got slave descendant. I think that earns you the nigga card. If you've been treated bad by the white man, it earns you the nigga. Like if you have people that suffered through the racism, that earns you the nigga card.
Stop saying the nigga card. Why is it a thing?
That's just what it is. Like that's like Logic shouldn't be able to say nigga. I know he got black in him. I don't feel comfortable with Logic saying nigga.
I'm getting real.
He looks
tired
like a
of
white
y'all.
man to me.
I'm really tired of y'all putting Logic outside the box. Like y'all gotta stop.
I mean,
doing
he's a
that
good
dude
rapper.
Like that.
Don't get me wrong.
Y'all gotta stop putting Logic outside the box like that. He's one of us, okay?
Barely. Shit.
Look, I'm gonna say this. I'm a full supporter of white people saying nigga. And the reason I say that is because if they start saying it and people start accepting it, that means we have taken the power out of the word.
We already did. It's
No,
our
we
word
have
now.
not. We have not.
We have all the power. That's why we hold it.
No.
It's ours.
We have not taken the power out of the word. Not we have gained the power of the word. We have taken the power out of the word. I mean that in a sense of like when we say niggas because we have control over the word.
Mm-hmm.
That word shouldn't have any control. It's a fucking word. It's not even in a dictionary. That's how bad. I mean that's how irrelevant that word is
Oh, yeah,
for
it is.
it to affect people that the way it does. So if you let white people
Wait,
say
when
it,
they take out nigga out of the dictionary? dictionary.
Nigga is not in a dictionary, bro. You thinking about Urban Dictionary? It is in the
No,
Urban Dictionary.
no,
It is not
no,
in
I'm
Webster's,
talking
bro.
about-
You're not gonna find it in Webster's.
Go to the Library of Congress and look at their dictionaries. That's definitely in there.
I'm not trusting.
Actually, I got a save script in my phone. I actually took the what their definition was. I actually got
I'm
it.
not trusting Congress
Because nigga is my favorite word, so I make sure I know all the
the ins and outs of
right.
that.
Yeah, exactly.
But we have to. We as a community have to take the power out of the word, and like you said, we have all the power and stuff like that. But it's a word; it should not have that much power. Right. So that's why I say white people should say it, because then the more white people say it, the less black people are affected by it. In a day and age, you can't. There's like you don't have any control of me physically. So, like, once I take that word back, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't hold any value. It doesn't hold any weight or anything like that. Now, if you're talking, 100 years ago, right, when nigga was getting thrown around, that's because nigga came with an ass whooping. Nigga came with, like, hours in the fields. Niggas came with, like, sleeping on the cold grass.
I say, find you a couple Jews and call them a kike and see what happens. It's a word. It shouldn't have no power over them, right? Right? That's what you're saying.
Trigger warning.
It's just a word.
But that's what I'm saying, though. The derogatory terms are, it's a stupid concept because, like, we shouldn't give words that much power. They should not have so much connotation
that comes with the word. That's what it is.
Yeah, I agree. But, like, it shouldn't even be based off that. It's a fucking word. And, like, unless you're physically hurting me, you could say, hey, 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 hey. And you can say that all day. But it doesn't hold any weight. So, because what the fuck of it? Like, what do you mean by that word? So, well, how's that word supposed to affect me? That's the way we need to be looking at, like, the word nigga.
Connotation
the word bitch.
Plays that part because, I guess words in themselves are powerless in a way, but the life we give those words hold immeasurable power.
Meaning, you lost me for a second.
So, it's from your spirit. It's from in the spiritual sense of things. The words that you use and the connotation in the life that you give those words are, I'm about to go on some Hotep shit right quick.
Here we go.
All right.
Speak on, brother.
When you spell words, why they call it a spell? It holds magic power, bro. Words. That's why they give you that bullshit lie, sticking stones may break my bones, but words may never hurt me.
Words are the ones that's doing the most damage. What are you talking about?
Exactly.
They shouldn't. That's what I'm saying. Like, we need to take that power out of the word.
You can't.
We have to. We have. A lot of words as the culture has not the culture has shifted, but as the generations have grown, we have gotten better, which goes back to the original point where the word itself usually affect our old heads. With us as the millennials and the upcoming groups, the next generation and stuff like that, the words don't really affect them. It's just the directiveness of the word. It's when you take that word and you're throwing it in somebody's face and saying, I'm belittling you by using this word.
Well, you can't belittle me with shit. First of all, I know who I am.
That is the case. That's how it should be.
But a lot of people are not as sure of themselves and who they are.
Oh,
so they got some insecurities. So therefore, when you use certain words to define them, they take it to heart.
Yeah, but that goes with a bigger issue because a lot of people don't want to like point out the fact that they suffer from something bigger. Like
everybody wants to say that they're suffering from something. What you mean? That's the culture.
Nobody wants to. Well, yeah, okay, I'll give you that. The people would like to point out that they have issues going on in life, but then people use that excuse. Well, I got a lot going on and
Some
stuff
of them
like
use
that.
it as a badge, like here's my bipolar badge,
yeah,
here's my anxiety badge, and here's my I need a support dog badge.
But there's a shot there. But but the thing that we as a generation do very much lack, and we bring a lot of attention to it, but we still lack in a very strong way. Us, not just as millennials, but us specifically as black millennials, is where we do struggle with acknowledging that, hey, sometimes you do have emotional health issues, or sometimes you do have mental health issues. And it's very hard for us to, in today's culture, it's really weird because I feel like we bring a lot of spotlight to that.
Right.
But like nobody wants to sit there and say, hey, it's time for me to get help.
Right. Yeah. That extra step, because two things need to happen. One, you have to acknowledge it within yourself, and then two, you got to say, you know what, I need help. It's not something. It's beyond me. It's clearly something that I can't control. So I need to seek outside sources and to mitigate these issues.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of that stems from your upbringing. We're told, suck it up, man up, stop being a little punk, stop being acting like a little girl. You don't cry. Real men don't cry.
That's an older generation mindset.
Yeah, but
it is. It's absolutely older generation.
But we grew
mindset.
up with that.
Yeah, but we're changing the way.
We don't see.
We are changing the way though. We don't act the same way like our parents act. It's like if little Tommy falls and scrapes his knee and stuff like that, our parents aren't saying, "Oh, lick the blood up; it'll make you stronger." Stuff like that. That's what our parents were saying to us. We're not saying the same thing our parents.
So
say.
here's go. But what happens when you're raised with parents who don't show those emotions, who don't express those things? Because as a baby, you pick on everything that your parents do. That becomes kind of who you are in a sense.
But you get a little of that. If you're talking about,
it remedies a little bit. It's not as bad.
Yeah,
but it's still an issue.
Yeah, but you're talking about like in the sense of that, like say you weren't getting that information, or not that information, you weren't getting that emotion from your parents. Then you still bring about like, hey, I'm still learning how to deal with that emotion or that lack thereof from somebody else. And that's when your peers play a factor. And your peers aren't acting the same way as your parents most of the time. They're acting a little bit differently. That's why we live in a day and age where, like, if you pull a belt out and beat your ass and your kid's ass in the middle of Walmart, then somebody's going to say something.
Or record it.
Or
World star.
There's everything wrong with God. Yeah, but I hate this day and age.
Yeah, man, it's all about the clout culture. And that also plays a part with the emotional health thing. Whether you like to agree with it or not, when you're looking on social media and you're seeing all these posts, everybody getting attention and all these likes and all these comments, you're like, damn, I want some of that.
Yeah.
So what do I got to do with me so I can get these likes? And when you don't get these likes, it kind of like, damn, who the fuck am I, man? Like this person gets all this attention, does all this, and man, I can't get none of that.
And I'm not getting the same thing from that.
Like, what's wrong with me? Like, so then people get insecure about that shit. So that plays a little bit of part into your mental health, especially like I said, when you're not sure of who you are, and if you're not 100% in love with who you are, and you don't have that sense of pride, then your emotional health can definitely take that toll. And it's not a bad thing to seek counseling, people.
Yeah, I agree 100% because I got anxiety out the wazoo. My anxiety works a little differently from other people. Like, I never think about the things I know what's going on. Like, say if you take a situation and you're like, here's the situation and this is what's happening and this is where it's going and stuff like that. My anxiety doesn't kick in. My anxiety kicks in from not knowing everything. So if you tell me somebody's doing this, but I don't know what it is, my anxiety is like going through the fucking roof right now because I have to know what's going on. Once I know what's going on, like it makes everything so much easier.
If I was an old head, I'd tell you I blame the internet and your instant gratification factors from your flashy phones and all that.
What?
Whatnot.
I don't even be on my phone like that or the internet.
I said if I was an old head. I'm not an old head. I was just giving that argument there just in case somebody wants to bring it up in the comment section.
Is that? Well, it's because like whenever I have a question, I get the answer to it immediately. So maybe that's what it is. And it's not even like I want to know who Jennifer Lopez is marrying, so I Google it or anything like that. It's like real life stuff.
Anxiety as a little kid was find out next time on Dragon Ball Z. Like, damn, I gotta find out.
I can't wait till next week.
Right.
I can't wait till next week. How long is this going to take for this planet to blow up? I just don't understand.
Like shit. 12 episodes later.
But let's go back to white people saying nigga, because it's funny how white people rub you. Like sometimes they don't know the line. They're very good about not knowing where the line is, and sometimes they just say things that like will affect you in a very awkward way, and they don't understand it because like they don't grow up the same way as you. You being black in America, you grow up differently from somebody that's white in America. Yeah. This isn't against white people or anything like this. This is just they're
just habitual line steppers. I get it.
It's a difference of like upbringing and perspective. So because I've had some white people like scare the ever living shit out of me. Like one of my part-time hustles is me being an Uber driver, and I've had very weird situations with some white people, and it'll be like, okay, let me point this out. If you ever caught in an Uber before, there's one thing you don't do. You don't get in the front seat. If you're the only person in the vehicle, don't get in the front seat. It's a very awkward feeling. I don't know if you ever watch like YouTube incidents on like, or you've ever gotten on YouTube and watched YouTube Uber incidents. It's always somebody that hops in the front seat and does some crazy shit. So don't hop in the front seat. You make a person feel very awkward. And the only 2 times that has happened to me is like usually a millennial aged white kid gets in the front seat and they'll sit there and they'll throw their feet back and everything like that and get all casual. Mm-hmm. But then I had one situation where I picked up like a 16-year-old and like 2 10-year-olds, 3 o'clock in the morning. Very, very kind of weird. No red flags. It's really going off. It's just like, hey.
I mean, that's the prime age for school shooters.
You are out of line. But yeah, they get in the car. They get in the backseat of the car, and the 16-year-old kid, he's like, yeah. So how long you been doing that? So I'm like, oh, like 4 or 5 months. Like nothing long or anything like that. He was like, oh, that's cool. It's cool. Like we're talking a little, keeping conversation light, and he goes, so you ever had any crazy people in your car? Red flag. Automatically red flag when I hear something like that. And I'm sitting here like, what the hell could he, like, what do you mean crazy people?
Right.
Then I'm asking him this. I'm like, what do you mean by crazy? He's like, oh, like crazy people. I'm like, I don't know what you mean by that. Like, I've had drunk people in my car, but like I keep a bucket in the trunk, like just in case somebody wants to throw up or something like that. But other than that, no, I don't think I've had no like legitimately crazy people like turns into a serial killer when I drop him off at his next victim's house or anything. But he's like, oh, okay. So as I like continue to go down this trip, I'm sitting here like, yo, stuff is getting real awkward right now. And we're in this deep alley woods in the cut, like everything's suspect. I'm like, yo, this is a one-way dirt road that I'm going down, and I'm just keep getting deeper in the woods. I'm like, this is their initiation to the Ku Klux Klan right here. This is what's about to happen.
Get out now.
I'm sitting there like, yo, they were about to get initiated into the Ku Klux Klan. This is like their gang initiation. Right. Like they're about to get jumped in, except they have to kill me to be jumped in. It's just everything.
Get your first nigger.
Because I'm sitting here like this, like maybe that's just where, as a black person in America, maybe this is where my mind goes when I'm stuck in a situation like that. And come to find out, like I dropped the people off and like the guy gets out of the car and he's like, hey man, I know this looks like really weird and suspect. So sorry, like if it was bothering you in any way, shape or form. I'm like, thanks man. But the sad part was like when I pulled up to drop them off, I'm like, yo, all I see is like 3 mailboxes. I don't see any houses. All I see is trees. I got to fight for my life out here. Like, when they're getting out of the car, I'm unbuckling my seatbelt and I'm turning on the light because I'm ready to fight. Like, I'm like, nah, I got to kill at least one of y'all before all 3 of y'all kill me.
Get the strap.
So, I'm sitting like, I got to take somebody out before they take me out. Right. But, like, the crazy part is we're talking about, like, 2 10-year-olds and a 16-year-old. Granted, all 3 of them are white and I'm a black person and something like that. But, like, that's where my mind went. Yeah. And like that's something you could tell like a person of a lighter complexion. You could sit there and say like that's how scared I was in that situation, or that's how like worried I was in that situation, and they would say I don't understand how you could feel that way. They were a 16-year-old and 2 10-year-olds, and you shouldn't have felt any way about that. Well, exactly. That's the day and age where we live in. And that's something that should get acknowledged. And like I said, mental health issues are a very serious thing, but that's based off upbringing. I've seen crazy stuff happen from
real quick. Post-traumatic slave syndrome. The shit that happened to our ancestors. You don't think that carries around? You see what them white people, man, a 15-year-old white boy is the most dangerous motherfucker in America right now. They got more kill counts than anybody. So you think Chicago go hard? Nah, these white boys that ain't getting no pussy, they go hard.
Trigger warning. Yeah, it's funny. I was at work the other day and my coworker was telling me about like how some kid, he was reading some article on some kid that was on Twitch talking about he was like, yeah, I know where my dad's gun is. I'm gonna take it to school and shoot it up and stuff like that. And he was talking about it on like Fortnite or something like that. And like the very next day that kid was in jail. Good. The very next morning. Good. And it wasn't even like everybody say the NSA is listening to everything we say or watch out for your Alexas because they're listening and stuff like that. No, the kids in his PlayStation or his Xbox party sat there and was like, oh no, I'm not going to school tomorrow. Report this dude.
See, that's why low-key I like white people because they snitch on shit like that. I ain't snitching, but shout out for white people for snitching.
Wait a minute. You mean to tell me if somebody gets on like the group chat and says that they're shooting up their school tomorrow, you're not going to say anything?
Ain't none of my business. I ain't see shit.
Bro, you can save a life.
Can I?
Yes. That's why that kid was in jail the next
I mean,
morning
if it's a
after
group
saving
chat,
that.
somebody else gonna see it. They can do it, right?
Oh,
I mean,
right.
ain't that what we do as a culture anyway? Am I just keeping it 100? I'm just not gonna bullshit you, because that's what we do. We see, somebody getting mugged, everybody go, somebody stop that guy.
Yeah.
But no one actually goes
Nobody
to
actually
stop
goes
that
over
guy.
there.
So
And I had a CPR training when I was going through my career, and we used to have to do this annual CPR training, and it would always say, like, whenever somebody's passing out and they need resuscitation, you would have to point at somebody and say, quick, you dial
Right,
911, because if you say somebody dial 911, everybody's looking at everybody else to dial 911.
Exactly.
That is just everything wrong with that.
Yeah, that's how we are. So again, shout out for the white people for snitching. I don't hate y'all. Okay, I know I said some shit, but I don't hate y'all.
What, you got like 5 friends? 5 white friends?
Just about. Maybe less. Just enough to keep track.
Size them up.
So yeah. So I know where they at, what they doing.
It's easier to keep track.
What's good.
I love white people. White people are the
necessary evil in this world.
Wow, I didn't say that. That's definitely not what I said. I definitely didn't call them necessary
if
evil.
we got body counts on who's killed and destroyed more life on this earth, then who y'all think the winner is? Aiden.
Yeah, definitely not touching that. But I've had some the black jokes are very much an issue. Like,
is it?
Yes. When a white person is about to say a black joke and they're sitting there like,
I have the disclaimer.
Yeah.
I'm not a racist.
I'm definitely. Well, everybody knows I'm not a racist. I have too many white friends for me to be a racist.
Right.
But and I get entertained by hearing some of the white people say the things that they say. I've heard a dude say moon cricket. Describe black people as a moon cricket.
Wow.
Like he was naming out derogatory terms, and they don't bother me. So I'm sitting there like.
Yeah.
No, like, what have you heard? And he was like, oh, yeah, moon cricket.
that's a
And
new
I'm
one.
sitting here like, moon cricket?
Has a
He's
nice ring
like,
to
yeah,
it.
because, like, you got to think about it. Like, when back in the day when they were working in the fields, when the sun was down and the moon was up, they'd sit there and sing their hymns. They were chirping at the moon. And I was like, oh, my God.
I mean, that's clever, but were they actually picking it at night?
Sometimes they were working at night. Oh, you thought slaves got days off?
I mean, they ain't no days.
Oh,
off,
you
but
thought they had 9 to 5?
They got sleep,
no,
right?
they didn't have schedules. I thought slaves had 9 to 5s.
Damn, shit. That's an extra ass whooping for the next white person to say nigga. Then.
Nah, bruh. Slaves are working straight 20-hour shifts.
Damn.
And-
Nah, black jokes, man. The only ones that I think growing up, I heard them all. Like, what did God say when he made the first nigga? Oops, burned one. It's like the oldest. Like, I've heard it all. Like, it's so when I hear them, they're just childish because that's when I heard them as a child growing up. In this Virginia area, a bunch of country ass motherfuckers. So, yep, they don't really get me like that.
I had one day when I was in class. I was in class with 2 white guys, and I had a white teacher. It was like I think it was like me and one other black person in that class, and one of the guys, we were talking about something, and one of the guys goes, he's like, yeah, I'm just not really attracted to like black women. There's nothing against them. White guy A, and he goes, I'm not really attracted to them. It's nothing against them. I'm just not attracted to like them specifically. And I look back at it, and I was like, that's fine, white guy A. Like, I only date white girls to piss white guys off. And I look back at white guy B, and I'm like, right, white guy B, does it just piss you off to see a black guy with a white girl? And he looks at me and he goes, yeah, honestly, you think they have a little bit more self-respect. And I heard that shit, and I felt it in my heart. Because I'm sitting here like, wait, who are you insulting more right now? You're insulting white girls more? You're insulting black guys more?
Right.
'Cause
Was he joking or
did he really genuinely feel that way?
Right. Yeah.
And that's the thing about
I get it.
Yeah, that's the thing about like black jokes is like sometimes you don't know where that line is, and sometimes you don't know how much like it comes from a deep rooted place. Like sometimes like white people will crack black jokes, and they'll be like, "Oh, well, it's fine. I'm not a racist because I have a colored TV." And I'm like, is that like the continuation of the joke, or like are you actually using that as like a legitimate standpoint on how you feel about black people? Like, I don't know what's going on with that situation.
I mean, jokes are jokes, man. It's no need to take them to heart, really.
Because they're words.
I mean, yeah, but as a person to tell jokes, I mean, if you're a comedian and you tell jokes, you're literally getting paid to make people laugh. So you know they're not trying to hurt your feelings.
What are you saying? Comedians get canceled all the time for jokes. If Eddie Murphy dropped a delirious right now in today's day and age, exactly.
Ooh, yeah.
If he dropped something like
his
raw
ass
in
be
today's
grabbed.
society,
Oh, yeah.
they would drop
everybody wants to be offended. That's what it is. They
that
look like here's the thing. If you don't like that shit, don't fucking watch it. If you're sensitive, don't fucking watch it. You know what? You shouldn't even be watching this if you're sensitive. But anyway, yeah, that's just the cancel culture nowadays. Somebody tells a bad joke, let it be about a gay dude, for Christ's sakes, and the world's on fire. Like Kevin Hart. And how many times he got to apologize?
Yeah.
Like, it's just, y'all gotta, I don't want to say man the fuck up, because it's mostly the women that get offended anyway. But
Yikes, don't be sexist.
Am I lying though?
I don't know. I've seen a lot of men get very
offended.
Yes.
With jokes?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. I've seen a lot of guys more in tune with their emotional side and react the way that they shouldn't. Let me put it like that.
All right, I'll give you that.
So
I'll give you that. Maybe I'm being a little sexist.
Yeah, you might be being a little sexist.
I'm a work in progress. I'm not perfect. And I'm fine with that.
Another subject I want to talk about is cliche responses. I hate cliche responses. My thing about cliche responses, and we talked about this on the first episode when we were talking about like people putting "I love The Office" in their Tinder profiles.
Yeah.
And how it's absolutely to my point exactly. So if you have to point out that you like The Office, it's a very cliche response.
Or like Joker and Harley Quinn, love goals, like that bullshit. Okay. Okay.
Oh man. But yeah, people like are very quick to throw out the cliche answers, and my problem with that is like if you ask me to tell me something about myself, and I'd be like, let me think of here's one. My nickname is Escanor because Escanor is the lion's and the pride of the 7 deadly sins. I'm a very prideful person, so I can resonate with that. Escanor is a very good descriptive name of me. That would be my one thing. That's not something you would commonly hear. That's not like if you go up to anybody, that's not a response that they would give you. Yeah. You probably never ever hear anybody say I'm Escanor of the 7 deadly sins or anything like that.
Right, yeah.
But then you ask like somebody else, you'd be like, hey, what's your tell me something about yourself. And they're like, well, my zodiac sign is a Pisces, and I'm totally like two different personalities, but I'm black and white, and like it can go any way. And sometimes I just weigh with the water, and I'm just like, did you read that off of did you read that off the internet? Did you literally just describe yourself with the internet?
People like to live in a box, and it's like, hey, look, I'm boxed here. This is where you can see me, and this is what you should expect out of me right here. This, I don't know nothing about all of this.
Let me just stick to what I think will please you. I hate that because it doesn't show any like we don't in today's society. Us as millennial culture, we don't know how to be original anymore. Right. Like we are very, very bad about that. Like music.
All right. Like music this nigga shirt right here to say with Tupac.
Exactly.
Everybody's favorite rapper.
And if I ask you as a millennial, like me personally, my favorite rapper is Kanye West. I'm a fan of what Kanye West was when he was dropping his early albums. I watched him grow as an artist. I don't have to defend myself as to why I'm a Kanye West fan.
He's a God-tiered artist.
He's definitely a God-tier artist. Now, how he feels politically or what he does on the side, I don't care for because I don't care about his personal life. I care about his music. And I'm sorry, but other than music, it's a debatable argument about whether Kanye West has had a bad album. Your favorite artist?
Lupe Fiasco.
Lupe Fiasco, which makes sense as a millennial with everything that he's dropped, especially with the cool. Yeah. 23, 22 songs on that fucking album and not a bad track.
No skips.
On it.
All the way through.
Not a bad track on that album. But as a millennial, because like you could grow with Lupe Fiasco. Damn, he told a story. Food and liquor into the cool and stuff like that. He was able to tell a story that you could grow with. And then when people tell me, like, And I'm not talking about like you could grow with like looking at the story in the long run, like saying, like looking back and saying, oh, that was a good story. I'm saying like you grew with that story.
Yeah.
Food and Liquor came out when you were this age.
Right.
The Cool came out when you were this age.
Right,
You're
yeah. I
thinking
agree
two
with that
different
shit. Yeah,
perspectives.
exactly.
From you being, I don't know, 9 to you being fucking 15. And then people sit there and
math
tell me
is
like
really
my
wrong.
favorite artist is Tupac. My favorite
Right,
artist is
yeah,
Biggie. And it's
yeah.
like, what? How? Like you didn't grow with that artist.
Right, exactly.
You're just probably saying that because they are two of the most almost renowned, not even respected, renowned artists.
Yeah.
In
And
rap.
it's just popular to like them, to be honest.
It's a cliche answer.
Yeah, so,
That's
you know,
literally
you
what
know,
it is.
One has to go. Tupac, Biggie, Eminem, Nas. Well, guess what? 2 of them are already gone. Rest in peace.
But Nas is also a very scapegoat answer. And that's what that's my problem with. Well, Nas is a very scapegoat answer. Nas doesn't put out enough music to stay relevant. Nas will always be a respected artist. Don't get me wrong. I love Nas. But Nas is a scapegoat answer. Nas, Tupac, Biggie, Jay-Z, they are all scapegoat answers. And
Jay-Z kind of, no, Jay-Z.
he doesn't put out enough music to consistently stay relevant. Here's the thing about like when we grew up, like we were listening to Big Sean. But see, the thing about Big Sean is Big Sean's putting out a new track every 3 months. Even if it's his song or not. He's every 3 months you're hearing something new from him.
Man,
That's the artist
one
that
of the
we've
first
grown
music
with.
videos I heard was what's that? What that joint? Kanye West produced that joint.
By who?
Jay-Z.
That
joint. Yeah.
That's when
like
I
one of the
became.
first
I was a
music
fan of
video.
Kanye West before Kanye West was dropping albums. Like when Blueprint 1 came out.
But so
I was
my
messing
point
with him.
is though, we
Heart
still
of the
grew
City?
up listening.
Come on now,
The
the
point
beat
was
Heart of
that-
the City.
The point is, we still grew up listening to Jay-Z.
Yeah, we did. But that's what I'm saying. Like Jay-Z he's already well renowned and stuff like that. But Jay-Z doesn't really speak to Jay-Z. The thing about Jay-Z is
He can't relate to the younger
you
crowd.
can't
Right,
relate to you can't relate to Jay-Z now. Like
Right.
you could relate when Jay-Z was doing Blueprint 1 and he was doing you can talk about Reasonable Doubt. You can talk about Kingdom Come. You can talk about all those albums that were coming out way before. You can relate to those because he was still up and up. But now when you come out here talking about like you sitting here posting a music video with your wife
Right.
talking about ape shit and
Right.
y'all are really literally rapping in front of the Mona Lisa.
Right.
You got about 17 people that's watching that music video that can actually relate to that shit.
Right.
Out of the millions of views y'all got, everybody, the Mona Lisa, bro, do you know how hard it is to get a music shot? Jay-Z and Beyonce just sitting there thugged out. Like that's not an easy accomplishment or easy accolade.
Black excellence.
Black excellence, absolutely, 100%. But yeah, those cliche answers are a very big issue because like when you talk about like I had one guy on another Uber ride and he asked me what my favorite movie was, and I was like, why do you ask that? He was like, well, because your favorite movie can tell you a lot about you, and I was like, yeah, but no, like maybe about me. Maybe me specifically, like my favorite movie is Pursuit of Happiness. And
I think
my
that's
two
kind of a
favorite-
blanket answer.
What?
That your favorite movie, your favorite anything can tell somebody something about you.
But it also cannot. Because like a lot of people will say like my favorite genre is this, and then when you look through the phone, that's not their favorite genre. Or they may tell you like, if you tell me your favorite movie is a superhero movie, I have questions. Like, if I tell you my favorite movie is Pursuit of Happiness is one of my favorite movies because that bathroom scene always gets me teared up. But my other favorite movie is Crash because I love watching like all these different cultures have these perspective situational encounterments where they can all see like it was a turnaround movie where like everybody got to see a little differently.
Right. So
So-
give me an example of a cliche answer movie that.
Dark Knight. Very cliche answer. If I ask you what your favorite movie is and you say The Dark Knight, cliche fucking answer. Yes, we get it. It was a great movie. But what did you like about it? Oh, well, the Joker was really great. But what did you like about the Joker? He was just devious.
That just
like,
comes with the cloud of somebody dying. That's all it is. Heath Ledger.
I rest my case.
Honestly, he wouldn't even be in the mentions of the top Jokers.
Which is crazy because The
if
Dark
he
Knight
didn't
was a great movie, but
movie.
for you to say like that's your favorite movie of all time is a very cliche answer. Or like The Notebook. Cliche answer.
Well, technically, there's a superhero
Cliche
movie.
answer. Titanic. Cliche answer.
That's women, bro. They like that emotional tear-jerking shit.
Yo, Rose was nothing but a selfish bitch. She couldn't move over to let let John on the
that's
goddamn
why a
what's his
lot
name,
of
right,
selfish-
John? What's his name?
But-
Jack, whatever. Shows how
check it.
relevant he was because he didn't get no space on the door.
Right.
Like,
But check it, though. A lot of selfish bitches like that movie, though, right? So it tells them a lot about them.
But I don't think they look at it like that. They don't be like, I'm looking at Titanic. Like, okay, here it is. Truth Hurts by Lizzo. Women sit there and look at it like, oh,
That's a jammy
I'm
jam right
strong.
there.
Yeah, again, cliche response. Because Truth Hurts is like a song about like, let me empower myself. You thought you could have had better than, or you thought you could have had better. Then you come to find out that's not the case. And now I'm a strong entitlement. Don't get me wrong. I love Lizzo. Lizzo is one of the most entertaining artists there are coming out today. Very entertaining female. Hilarious on the side, musically talented, and then her performances are amazing.
Yeah,
But
she kill it.
Truth Hurts is a crazy ass song because women will listen to that and be like, yeah, I feel that. I've been through that and stuff like that. And it's like, but like Truth Hurts talks about like the woman leaving the guy. But then women will sit there and represent that song like that's their whole story when they got left.
Yeah.
That like,
Or they
I have
stick
issues
around with the
that.
niggas bullshit.
Exactly. And then like when they get
But
mad,
it
they
be the
pump that
same.
song. Like,
But it be the same women that be like Beyonce's songs are their fucking anthems, right?
oh, like when I taking girls in a club singing single ladies.
Right. Yeah. Like I get it. It sounds empowering, but you know that don't mean it's gotta be. I mean, but I guess everybody's favorite stuff doesn't necessarily staple who they are as a person. But my favorite movie happens to be a superhero movie though, V for Vendetta. I guess maybe he's not a superhero.
Yeah, and that
maybe
I
he's
can
more
understand.
of a vigilante.
That I can understand.
I'm all
because-
about fight against the
Exactly,
the power,
because
so.
V for Vendetta was an anarchy movie. I can understand that. If you tell me your favorite movie is Man of Steel, I got an issue here.
No one's favorite.
But I can understand you're saying like your favorite movie is V for Vendetta because it wasn't like it was a superhero movie, but it wasn't superhero-esque.
Right, yeah.
Like Kick-Ass. Kick-Ass isn't superhero-esque. I don't know anybody that says that's their favorite movie,
Right.
but I would side with them saying that's their favorite movie over them saying Avengers 1 is their favorite movie. There's nothing in Avengers 1 that's relatable. You can't sit there and say, well, I really resonated with Captain America the way he broke up the fight between Tony Stark and Thor. Like, no, that's not a thing.
Right. Yeah. I get you.
So if you say things like that, I know you're just catching the clout. You're not going to tell me Black Panther was your favorite movie. Nobody's going to tell me Black Panther. I can get what Black Panther did for the community.
Right.
I can understand how much Black excellence was going on in Black Panther. But you're not going to sit here and tell me, like, Black Panther was your favorite movie of all time. There's a lot wrong with Black Panther. I'm sorry to say there's a lot wrong with it.
I don't know. If I was Malcolm X, I would say Black Panther's my favorite movie.
Yeah, but if I was Malcolm X, I would say Black Dynamite was my favorite movie. So there's a room for argument there. But nonetheless, like there's certain movies that people will say like that's my favorite movie, and they're just saying that to like please the crowd.
Yeah,
Like
well, a
here's
lot of people ain't original. That's what it is. Cloud chasers.
Cloud chasers, right? And here's another thing about like cliche answers or cliche responses is I have a couple coworkers back in the past, and I used to hate getting in vehicles with them because they always want to please. Like if you come over my house, or if you come in my car, I'm not gonna like change the space for you.
All right.
I'm gonna invite you into my space. I'm always big about that. Bring somebody. If you're gonna bring somebody around, bring them into your space. So if you get in my car, I'm sorry to say, you about to listen to Kanye West. Like that's gonna happen. I'm about to play Kanye West. I'm playing Kid Cudi. I'm playing Lupe Fiasco. Like I'm playing the artists that I want to listen to. I'm playing Eminem. I'm playing Jay-Z. I'm playing what I want to listen to. You get in the car with some people, and they will go through their their playlist and their catalog to play something that you want to listen to.
All right.
Like,
I seen
I usually listen to Linkin Park in my spare time, but let me go ahead and find the 2, 3, 4 Jay-Z songs that I have in my album and play all three of them. Or the one Lil Uzi Vert song that I have and the 2 Kid Cudi songs that I have.
don't think that's so much with the clout. I think some people are people pleasers, but a lot of times when it comes to the white people, sometimes they just really feel bad about being white. So they're like, let me show you that I'm an ally.
Yeah.
So I'm with the shits too. You know,
I get down.
Hey, you can trust me.
I shuck and
I
jive
listen
as
to rap.
well.
Right. I like the hippity hop music sometimes. So I'm one of the good ones.
Yikes. All bad. But, I have an issue with that because I'm like, yo, I'm not about to change it up for you. So don't change it up for me. Like, if I'm getting in your car and I'm going to play this music, then you should play whatever you feel. I'm a fan of Linkin Park. I'm a fan of Nine Inch Nails. I can listen to Aerosmith. I can listen to Kiss. I'm not against those people. I listen to all music, but I see that, like, because I do listen to all genres of music. But if you ask me what my favorite genre is, I'm going to be like, oh, R&B. I'm an avid R&B fan. I listen to Ushers. I listen to Chris Brown. I've listened to all the older R&B artists, but I'm a fan of the newer R&B artists. I love listening to SZA. I love listening to all these new artists that are coming out.
Speaking of new artists, then, who's prime candidate for King of R&B? Because
Chris Brown.
Okay.
I
would say he's a good candidate. Yeah, that's a good candidate.
Prime candidate. Chris Brown.
But has he taken? You think he's there enough to take that crown yet? Because honestly, I still think it's on R. Kelly's head.
Wait.
Despite his shit, I mean, a lot of y'all motherfuckers was born to his music. Shit, different.
12 Play is one of the greatest sex albums of all time. You're not wrong. You're absolutely not wrong. 12 Play is definitely absolutely 100%.
Granted, he might have been talking about some little girls. I don't know.
But like, 12 Play came out when Genuine was up and grind, and like Pony Alone is a song in those jeans. Like, come on now.
Yeah, nothing beats 90s R&B, man.
You say, I had a ginormous argument about that because he was. I had an argument with some old head of mine. I fuck with him heavy, but
maybe late 80s.
And that's what he said. Yeah. He said nothing like late 80s, and I was listening to the song. I was like, Chris Brown could have got on that song and made it just as amazing. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, yo, see, this is my problem with you old heads is y'all always compare the old music to the new music. Mm-hmm. And y'all will sit here and say, oh, well, your new music ain't talking about nothing. Back in the day, we had people like Tupac or Biggie, and we had these guys, they were actually talking about something. I'm like, and you saying now we don't talk about anything in today's music, right? And they be like, yeah, you guys ain't saying shit. I'm like, okay, well, why don't you explain to me what they were talking about in the first 60 seconds of Rapper's Delight by Sugar Hill Gang? Like, you got on the track and you said a hip, a hop, a hippie to the hip hoppy. It don't stop the rocket to the bang bang boogie. Say up jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogity bee. What the fuck did you just say to me? I feel insulted, actually. I was able to take them many words and make a derogatory term out of it. That's how stupid that shit was. But then you have the audacity to say to me that us younger generation ain't talking about nothing on these tracks these days. Get the hell out of here.
I mean, we talking about what we doing.
But see, that's the thing, like, because they know.
I mean, that's what we're doing. We fucking.
We ain't even fucking that bad. Our reproduction rate is a lot lower than it was, but 10 years ago,
what
20 years ago?
All the I'm sorry for cheating on you songs? Them joints was.
Ain't nobody feeling empathy for like cheating these days. That's a problem. Right. We don't care no more.
He's like, fuck it. She shouldn't have been going through my phone.
Right.
Disclaimer: I've never cheated in my life. So.
Yeah. Good for you.
Black men don't cheat.
But nonetheless, like that's a big problem with me. Like, people will argue like, oh, your new generation, y'all don't be talking about nothing. Y'all just be talking about doing the biggest drugs and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, okay, but like niggas with attitude was sitting there screaming out fuck the police. I don't subscribe to that. So like I can't relate to that music.
I do.
I don't say fuck the police. I've never had a bad run-in with the cops. As a black person in America, I've had a lot of run-ins with some bad people.
I've had some. But like, it wasn't even my fault.
I haven't had bad run-ins with the cops. So,
because I just look like that black guy. That's all. You look the part.
Yeah, but I mean, I've been in a situation like that, but even that got cleared up very quickly. Like, it wasn't like they locked me up and sent me to jail.
I ain't never been locked up.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like,
you're right.
Even I've been in situations where I have been judged by being black or something like that, and that wasn't even the cops' fault. It wasn't like, oh, I saw a nigger walking down the street and I must thought it was him or something like that. It's like the neighbors that are calling. I've had bad neighbors, but I've never had bad experience with cops. Right. So I can't subscribe to fuck the police.
Fuck them.
I am a full ground supporter of the Prince William County Police Department. They post shit about playing Pokemon Go. So I'm sorry. You can't go wrong with that. They say, hey, stay out of the streets, kids. But we get it. Pokemon Go is fun. And then they'll post it on Facebook. And I'm like, yeah, that's a county I can get down with. But nonetheless, you're not going to touch on that?
No.
But nonetheless, here's one of my biggest issues with today's society is that race is a fad. since we're very heavy in the race topic today. And sorry, guys.
I'd have to ask you to define fad for me.
Fad?
Because I'm not agreeing to your statement. I don't see where you're coming from when you say fad.
Race
Do
is
you
a
mean
fad.
as in
Okay,
something that
all right. Let
is
me hold on. Let me get a
hip
little
and
bit
not
more
as hip anymore, and
yes,
it will go away
yes,
eventually?
Yes, that's what I mean. But I don't mean race specifically. I mean like complexions of race. I think complexions and race are a ginormous fad. Like, you got to think about it. Becky and her friend from the Sir Mix-a-Lot video, they sat there and they trashed that black girl who was on the little roundabout sitting there talking about how fat her ass was and stuff like that. And oh my God, she's just so black. Like, look at her ass. Now these white girls are posting more peach emojis on Instagram than black girls are. Like, the ass is the goal. I just want to get my hips and my ass right. Look at me in my Lululemon leggings while I get this thing
Let's
plump.
get something straight. The black woman has always been the most highly coveted yet highly disrespected woman.
Absolutely.
On
Agree.
Earth.
No disagreement there.
So they always wanted it to look like that. Why you think the little
Nah,
British women
I would disagree.
had their little things to make the asses look fat or whatever?
I would disagree, because
They
you
saw
knew there
some
wasn't a
African
fat
booties
ass
and
under
was like,
there,
"Dang."
so you're not gonna tell me like this is to make my ass look fat.
mean-
Like, you knew there wasn't a fat. You knew it was pancake butt out there out the wazoo.
Look.
Like,
I don't know who thought pancake butt was a good idea, but that hurts. That's what we want to feel. All right? Volume.
volume.
Cushion. All right? I don't subscribe to pancake booty.
No
Can't do
long
it.
backs
If
over
I want
here.
pancakes, I'll go to IHOP, all right?
But no, I think like people's interests, like people's interest in complexions change like people's interest in shoes. Like, it's a very fast progression where like you're like,
I don't think it's just complexion, though. I think it's just the black look, not necessarily complexion,
what do you mean?
because we're always culture defining. We set the trend for what's hot.
Yes,
We-
us as black people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So therefore, whatever we do, whatever we have, is what they're gonna try to emulate. Mm-hmm. So,
But you can't say that, because when people were frowning upon the fat asses, like we weren't pushing that agenda. Like, yeah, there was a point in time where a lot of black men were attracted to white women, but that wasn't even like, oh, this is
they were still
attraction thing.
recovering from the time where they didn't like black people like that anyway.
Exactly.
But now, as the culture shifts, and now, I'm not saying they all like us now, but we're what's hot in these streets.
Yeah.
So they're gonna, of course, they're gonna keep emulating what we have. They're gonna turn into culture vultures. I'm just waiting for the time, where hip hop and rap is no longer a black genre.
It's moving its way. You have very talented white artists like Logic. It's like, no, let me not take that shot at him. Logic, I appreciate all your music. I'm a very big fan of yours. I am yet to be disappointed by you.
Look, if
but
you
no,
get
like,
pulled
seriously.
over by the cops, they not gonna say I got a black man in the car.
Yeah, they're
doing
definitely not
XYZ.
saying that. So shout out to you. But no, like you have to think about it. Like, we're making a very, very big. Like, you have to think about it. Just a year ago, like, the biggest talk in the rap community was the beef between Eminem and Machine Gun Kelly. It was mayonnaise mayhem, as Charlamagne the God would say it. But like, that was the biggest talk in the rap industry at that time.
Nah, I would say it was that Pusha T bars against
That
Drake.
was before. No, it was
I
after.
want to say it was the same year though.
Yeah, it was the same year.
that
But
was
like
saying that was
when that
bigger,
was
though.
going on, not even.
I
No,
thought it was
not
bigger.
even. I wouldn't even say the Pusha T Drake thing was bigger, just because
That shit was legendary.
No, it wasn't.
Yo, what's his kid look like?
Because they just
What's his
stopped.
kid look like?
I don't know.
Exactly.
I wouldn't say it was bigger because I think it wasn't bigger because it was Drake beefing with somebody as opposed to Eminem beefing with somebody. And when Eminem beefs with somebody, rap comes to a halt for a moment. Yes, it does. You got to remember.
Shit was weak.
What?
That's just my opinion.
Killshot was weak?
My opinion. My opinion.
Conversation for another time.
Yeah, yeah.
Nah,
Another time.
conversation for
Another time. Yeah, we talk about it later.
But
That's a whole
no,
nother
like
episode.
like we have moved in an age where like I think rap is not specifically just a black person's genre anymore. Like I think black people are still headlining it. Like we are still the voice of the genre. But I feel like there are more white people getting involved. Like you have white people that aren't bad artists. I don't care what anybody says. Eminem is top 3 best rappers in today's society right now.
Debatable.
Don't care what anybody says. Yeah, but I'm making an argument here. Eminem's
Sure.
top 3. You see that? That's respect right there. My show. But Eminem is arguably one of the best rappers in today's genre. And then you have like other very good talented artists that are coming up today. Like you have the G-Eazy's, or even if you are a fan of Machine Gun Kelly. I'm personally not, but there are people that are fans of Machine Gun Kelly.
I like a couple of songs.
That makes one of us. But you have a line of up and coming Yellow Wolf. You have a lot of white artists that are coming up and not taking advantage, but like
I don't think that's enough to say that race is a fad, though. I don't think that's enough to say that.
yeah, but you got to think about who was selling out.
Because for it to be a fad would mean that we would no longer be relevant at one point.
Well,
I think we're always going to
the fad that I was talking about was the more or less the complexion.
Okay.
Because like there was a time where like black guys were very interested in white women, and then you would have those white women, and they would be advertised. Hold on, but they would be advertised, and they would be spotlighted and stuff like that. And then the complexion got a little bit more tan. It got a little bit more yellow and stuff like that. So the lighter
Shout
skin,
out to Chris Brown for putting them beautiful sisters in that last music video.
then you had like a little bit more tan, a little bit lighter. It's not pushing the agenda that we want, but it's pushing a more colorized agenda as far as that. And then like you have now like you see you have these yellow bone females and these red bone females that are spotlighting the Hanes advertisements and stuff like that, and the darker sisters are coming up and they're speaking out against it. They're like, why can't you appreciate the Lapitas and the Michonnes? And I gotta stop saying Michonne to describe her, but I cannot remember her name to save my life.
I know
That one girl from Black Panther.
I know you're talking about. Yeah, she also from the zombie joint.
Michonne.
Yeah,
that is what her name is. But anyway, but like you have like all these beautiful dark-skinned women,
but to call that a fad, meaning I think it's being highlighted more, so I wouldn't call it a fad. I would say
no. It is a fad though, because you have to think about it from a guy perspective. At the point, like we are now more interested. Like you can say what you want. A lot of like darker skinned black guys were usually more interested, or even lighter skinned black guys. You're usually more interested in a lighter complexion.
Right.
Growing up in school in your day and age, you can't deny that like the darker women weren't getting the same appreciation that the lighter women weren't. And now black women are getting the dark black women are getting their respect. They're getting their appreciation and stuff like that.
Though, there was more white women to choose from than there was black women.
Yeah, but we're not talking about white women to black women. We're talking about lighter skinned black women to darker skinned black women. Because I'm only talking about the complexion here. So, not race being a fad, but complexion within the race being a fad.
I don't think I've dated too many light skinned joints. I think when it comes to black women, I've always preferred the darker skinned women.
Oh, yeah.
Blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice.
I've dated more Hispanic women than I've dated anybody else. So,
all right. So
that's a flaw on my end.
That means you're gonna have an Afro-Latina, as a child one day. They're gonna identify as that, and you're gonna hate it
because they'll be half black, half Hispanic, which would make sense.
Some of them are.
If you tell me you're half black and half Hispanic, I would be like, oh, you're Afro-Latina. That would make sense. I'm talking about the full Latina. I'm not doing this with you. You got anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
Yeah. I'm not sorry for anything that I said. Everything I said, I meant. And shout out to all the black people out there. Shout out to the white people too, because y'all cool and all. I don't hate y'all. All right, I'm not a racist. I mean, black people can't be racist, but that's a subject for another time.
All right, with all that being said, thank you for joining us for another episode. And if you're a millennial, it's a sin. And everything you say is wool. Thank you for joining us on the Our Sins and Woes podcast. For everybody, peace.